Hey guys, welcome along to another episode of Double Tap, and today we're diving back into that inbox. Don't even think about it, Priest. Don't even think about it.
Oh,
come on.
This is Double Tap, where blind people talk tech. Here's Stephen Scott and Sean Priest.
We're going to get emails from Dean from New Zealand now because of you. Hi, Dean.
God bless you, Dean. Hope you're having a good day. How are you, Stephen Scott?
I'm all right. I think I'm all appled out, if I'm perfectly honest. I can't talk about Apple anymore. Sorry.
There's no such thing if Apple's listening. How's those iPhone 17s?
Got a couple you could spare? A little spare? Yeah, that'd be nice, thanks.
Please, sir.
Yeah. After our conversation yesterday, I don't know, I'm still kind of on the iPhone 17 thinking maybe that's the way to go. I'll be honest, last night I was looking up brand new factory sealed versions of the iPhone 13 mini that you can get on eBay, and I'm like, that was a beautiful phone, the 13 mini.
Oh, no. I talked you out of it, I thought, but apparently not. I talked you down from that ledge because, you know yourself, the battery life just wasn't there.
I know, look, it's not going to be there, but these are brand new. These are sealed in box, and no one's ever lied on eBay before, so it'll be absolutely fine.
Do you know what, though? Funnily enough...
Sorry, a slight delay on that one, but yeah. We've got there.
Well done. Responsive, Stephen. Bluetooth lag.
That's the responsiveness now of a Google Pixel right there. There you go. See? Brought it around to destroying Android again. Sorry.
My iPhone 15 Pro, the battery has started to show signs of... I'm having to charge it 2 or 3 times during...
Oh.
Can I just say, I'm in the middle of a thunderstorm here, so if I suddenly disappear, that's why.
You're not getting a day off with that, by the way. And don't think, I'm starting to think you're bringing your own side effects in here. That's what this is all about. You've thought, hey, I'll bring a couple of sound... Yeah, that's right. The haunted shed.
What was I saying? Oh, yeah, the 15 Pro. So, yeah, the battery has started to fail on it. Well, not fail, but you know what I mean. It doesn't hold a charge very long at all. So, in that case, I am due an upgrade on my contract. So, I am thinking of the 17. I am.
Sean is thinking of buying a new phone. A new phone?
Breaking news.
Unless Mr. Apple's steps in. But no.
Love you, Apple. Great guys, great girls. You're all fantastic.
Going on from what we were saying yesterday, and we won't go on about Apple, but going on from what we said yesterday about, the need to upgrade. Definitely not. I don't feel it. I'm more than happy with the 15 Pro.
So what would be wrong with me buying an iPhone 13 mini?
I mean, well, for a start, how old are we talking now? The 13. What year was that?
So what's that? Four generations ago? Yeah. That doesn't seem that long ago to me.
Actually, it's not. And you can, I know Android have the 7-year, well, at least Google, the 7-year promise, right? And Samsung, I believe, updates for the next 7 years or something like that. And Apple are very good at that as well, supporting older devices. But still, the 13 just seems too far back for me.
Okay, I'm not going to get
Apple. Terrible
Apple
thing to say.
I know. Well, I mean, yeah, and that's how capitalism works these days, right? They get you to buy the latest. Obviously, I wouldn't be getting Apple Intelligence. I'm not going to be getting all that kind of stuff on it. I might to some degree, but not. I'm not going to get the very latest
not on
and
device,
greatest.
You're not. But do you still? I still feel like we're 2 generations away from that being a necessity to run Apple Intelligence.
Mm-hmm. And that's what part of me is thinking, well, if it doesn't matter so much that I have that and everything else, I mean, what am I looking for? I'm looking for a decent phone that's small, 5.4-inch screen. I actually tell you what I do have right now in my possession, and I have to be honest, I haven't brought this out of the drawer for a very long time, but I actually do have in my hand a iPhone SE 3rd generation, 2022, I think this came out.
Yeah. Totally forgot about the SEs, but yeah.
It's got the home button. Maybe that's the one. Maybe I'll just switch to this.
Someone asked me the other day about I said, are you watching the Apple event? And they said, no, just tell me if they release one with the home button.
Yeah, it's not happening. Not happening.
No, they haven't, and they won't. But people still love the home button.
Well, is it the home button or the Touch ID?
Yeah, good point. Well, you know what? I was... Quite a few times recently, I've found that doing the gesture to go home or go to the app switcher, no chance. You got to do it 2, 3, 4 times. Trying to get to the notification center, no chance.
Yep.
Depending on the app I'm in, it's not, 100%.
Okay. Anyway, we're not going to talk about Apple.
Oh, no, sorry. Yeah, all right.
Absolutely not going to talk about Apple, and that is why we are not talking about Apple. Right, let's get some emails on. Come on, let's get the emails.
Email, we get email. We get your email every day.
Bing bong.
Here's your mail today.
Yeah, we better get the emails on before Sean has to disappear.
Yes,
because
quick.
his internet goes away. Yeah, it's funny, isn't it? I would have thought, is it still there? So I thought it was
still
actually
there.
going away when we started the show. It's coming back.
No, I think it's going away. We're fine.
Okay, all right.
Trust me.
Yeah, I absolutely do not trust you. Okay, let's kick off with a couple of people have been getting in touch with us. Of course, the big story around Vespero and pricing, not just in the UK. I mean, that's been a big controversy, but in the US as well. But we are going to hear now from a couple of people who want to react to what they've been hearing. Kevin, on UK pricing, first off, you're our first caller.
Hi guys.
Or
I was
email.
surprised that the discount on a 2-year JAWS Home subscription wasn't mentioned at all on the recent interview with Sight and Sound. If you take out a 2-year subscription, the cost is £553 instead of £790, and so working out at roughly £226 per year. Strangely, there is no discount on the 3-year subscription at all, and so for your additional commitment to JAWS, you get nothing but a large bill for £1,155. The discount on the 2-year subscription is only valid until the 31st of October, and so important to get it out there so people can make an informed decision. My reading of the ridiculous pricing is that if you don't have a subscription, have an older version of JAWS, and need to upgrade at any point after the 31st of October, it's going to cost you £995 for a new license and 2-year timed SMA. You will then have to pay this cost every 2 years unless you take out the subscription. Cynically, I think this is Vespero ensuring that their business model takes around £400 from every JAWS user every year and guarantees their income stream and phases out those who manage on a version of JAWS for 3 or 4 years. I took the 2-year subscription and did face some technical challenges in authorising the new JAWS, as there appears to be some conflict when trying to authorise a new serial number on a laptop with an existing previous serial number. I'm thinking this might affect many JAWS users, and my workaround was to authorise the new JAWS on my old authorisation before then authorising it again using the new authorisation code I was provided with. Completely illogical, but got rid of the licence error I was getting when initially trying to activate with the new authorisation code. Regards, Kevin Lloyd.
Wow, thank you for that, Kevin. I must admit, I understood about at least 3 words in that email. Most of it was over my head.
Easy for you.
Yeah.
I've got to say, look, no matter what your thoughts on the actual pricing is, just the way it's been, put across, I'm still confused. And I've spoken to so many people who know their onions when it comes to the pricing, and just trying to retain and remember each situation, because, depending on which version you've got, how long you've had it for, how long you want to subscribe for, it's totally different. It's still very, very confusing.
Oh, totally. I don't get it. I mean, no wonder the thunder is going off in the background. Even the sky can't understand.
It's a nightmare,
what is going
I tell
on.
you.
The sky's saying, what version of JAWS do I buy? What am I paying for? Listen, John's been in touch as well. He wants to chime in on this.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Sean. This is John Gurd here. I just wanted to make a few comments about your programme where you interviewed Stuart Lawler from Sight and Sound about the price debacle regarding JAWS. I really do think it's appalling. I think it's an example of extreme price gouging. If you consider how much the home license costs in the United States annually, I believe it works out at $104.50. And by today's currency exchange rate, that works out at £77.30. And yet, the annual subscription here in the UK is going to be £420. That is utterly and completely unjustifiable. I could afford to pay it. I've been a a JAWS customer for at least 30 years, way back in the 1980s. I remember using JAWS for DOS, and consistently I've used that product and really liked it. But I would refuse to do that because I refuse to be mugged. I've refused to be robbed, and it really is daylight robbery. So, and I don't think it's good enough to simply say, well, people should be given the option of paying this up monthly, because, you know, it's just making it easier to rob people. I'm going to download NVDA and start getting to grips with it. One thing you did mention was the possibility of getting an SMA, and I phoned up Sight and Sound today and looked into that. Now, I bought an SMA late last year, and in fact, when I checked, I've got 2 upgrades left, and I was hoping against hope, I might add, that as in times past it was possible to do this, I was hoping that I would be able to add another 1 or 2 SMAs on at today's price, but that's not possible. I can kind of see why, because probably the nature of the SMAs themselves have changed from paying for 2 upgrades to paying for a 2-year period of time. So, but anyway, for whatever reason, that avenue's been cut off. So personally, I've got 2 years grace in order to, hopefully, for Sight and Sound and Vespero, the venture capitalists, or should I say vulture capitalists, to sort out a more reasonable price. Otherwise, I will definitely be jumping ship. Anyway, thanks for listening to me.
Strong words from John, referring to them as vulture capitalists and robbing us blind. Yeah, you know what? It's a difficult one, right? Because I think the reason I brought up the whole subject of payment plans was because, look, if that is the pricing, then at the very least make that pricing more accessible to more people by making that plan available on, say, a 12-month or a 36-month or whatever it might be payment plan. Yes. I do take your point, though, John, that, you know, that does therefore kind of make it a softer landing for those prices. So therefore, it's easier to say, well, we're giving you a payment plan, so therefore, actually, this higher price doesn't matter so much because you can pay it over a longer period of time. Forgetting the fact that it still is, you know, a price hike, whatever way you look at it.
But let's play devil's advocate for a moment. I mean, JAWS pricing has been, you know, a topic in our community for decades. Yeah. Always has been. And, you know, John's been a JAWS user for 30 years, so there's value in that product. If it needs to be this price to keep it sustainable, I mean, what choice do they have from a business point of view? And secondly, isn't the choice for us as end users is to say, I'm not going to pay it, I'm going to look elsewhere?
Yeah. So there's 2 things there, I think. One is that, you know, in John's case, I don't know, but I would imagine, like a lot of us who first were exposed to JAWS, that was at work. And so we would have had access to a JAWS license from our workplace. We wouldn't have necessarily bought it ourselves. At a certain point, we may decide in our lives that we want it at home as well. And therefore, you would be going to buy a license for JAWS. And that's when you really start to notice the pricing, right? Because you're paying for it, right? Nothing's a problem until it happens to you. Mm-hmm. So suddenly you're paying for it yourself and you're realizing the cost. So there's that aspect of it. So there's that kind of initial hit, that realization and seeing price change. You know, that's one thing. But I think the bigger issue here, and this is really for me what it comes down to, is the lack of availability outside of Canada and the US of the home annual license. And I think if that was implemented, a lot of this disquiet would go away. In fact, I would go so far to say that if the home annual license had never been implemented, this wouldn't have been quite as controversial a move. because the pricing wouldn't have changed that much. The issue for a lot of people is the pricing has, and obviously I know there's nuance in that because it depends on where you are, in your JAWS experience, what version of JAWS you're running versus where you want to upgrade to. So there's that aspect of it. But I think what I'm looking at is if you just made the home manual license available in more countries, ideally everywhere, then I think a lot of this disquiet would go away because home manual license, we're talking $100 per year. That's a huge difference.
It's a huge difference that Vespero doesn't want. That's the thing. I mean, look, in my opinion, okay, because that isn't easy to find anymore, even though it's still available, from what I understand.
You have to call up now to get it.
You have to call up, right? So
in the US
why would that be?
And Canada.
And why, from what I understand, the take-up hasn't been huge. I have no idea why. I think everyone would jump on that. When that was announced, we were excited by it. We thought, finally, this is a really reasonable price. This seems really fair for people to get onto the JAWS bandwagon. And it seems like, actually, it's being pushed away. It's being hidden. I don't think it's going to be around for much longer at all.
Well, Vespero have told us the reason for that is because they want to make sure enterprise pays what it needs to pay, pays that consumer pricing, or that enterprise pricing.
Enterprise
for businesses.
Pricing.
Look, I guess the issue must have been larger than we realised.
That's true. Yeah,
the issue must have been that people were... I mean, maybe it was a case where someone was walking into an office and saying, look, this is how much this costs. Well, they would know, right? They would be able to work out, I guess, by the amount of people buying the licenses and maybe tracking where it was going. I don't know. But look, at the end of the day, clearly some people were calling up, and maybe this was the employer themselves saying, look, if you can get JAWS and you can get it for yourself on this license and you pay for it, we'll give you the money back. And that's cheaper for us as business, which, is unfair to the company because they have enterprise pricing, and any business would have to pay enterprise pricing. You can't just have all the employees buy their own software and then claim it later, right? There
could be a conversation on the price of enterprise / governmental pricing.
That's a huge question. And I think there's a huge debate to be had.
Why is it so much more expensive?
Yeah. And that is not unique to Vespero. That is all of these assistive tech companies, I think, have all got a question to answer around that pricing. It does seem when it comes to enterprise pricing, that price just goes right up. And
we've your pockets, then we'll tell you the price.
And we've kind of gotten used to that. It's like, I saw a comment the other day talking about the iPhones. Someone said, the iPhone 10, when it came along, the iPhone X, that got us used to $1,000 smartphones. And now with the iPhone Pro Max with the 2 terabyte in it, we're now getting used to $2,000 iPhones. I'm not used to that yet, by the way. I'm not there. But this is the point. So I think that, for a lot of us who are home users, and I'm talking about the home users here, I think if you're in employment and you're getting this paid for, then your company should pay whatever the enterprise price is. We can debate that, of course. But what I'm talking about here are home users. And I feel that there's a disparity here between people in the US and Canada who are able to access a cheaper, more affordable, pay monthly license, a home manual license, and outside of the US and Canada, we can't have that. And I think that's the thing I want to see. It's not up to Sight and Sound to make that happen. No. People keep pointing back to Sight and Sound Technology in the UK. They're a distributor. The company Vespero are the ones who actually drive the home manual license, not a third party, not distributor. And they have had their reasons for not doing this. But I think that's something they need. I think they need to rethink this.
Well, we've talked about the distribution model as it is anyway. I just think it's so old-fashioned.
It's ludicrous now, I think. I mean, I can kind of understand it. The argument, and their argument, Vespero's argument, is it's down to localization issues, down to local support. I don't disagree with that entirely, because obviously then Vespero would have to put a huge amount of investment into that support, which might be challenging for them to do, and they've obviously worked out a good distributor model to do that. But I don't see the home manual licenses falling into that, and I can't understand why both can't work together.
I don't understand why you still use the distributor model for support. Hey,
exactly.
If you're in a non-English speaking country, then we'll get this company to support you for JAWS.
I mean, if you're buying that license, let's say in the UK, I was able to go and buy a home manual license through the Vespero portal. through the Freedom Scientific portal, I should say, to buy this. Maybe that's something that could be part managed, or it would reflect the fact that Sight and Sound are the distributor, and therefore that's your support contact. I mean, that's all you really need to know, right?
Yeah.
The rest is just a web interface. I mean, if it's not, look, I guess my thing is, if Vespero don't see this as a big enough market to bother about, get out of it. Just get out of it and just be pro. That's the pro pricing, that's it. Don't create a two-tier system where you have over here in 2 countries, over here, you have access to a much lower cost option, and in the rest of the world, you can't. It's either all or nothing for me, right? I'm sorry, it's either all or nothing.
Yeah, but then
get rid of it entirely and make everyone pay the same price wherever you are in the world. That's fair. Not have a single system over here, which is like... So basically what you're saying is, Vespero, if I have a friend who lives in the US who's willing to help me out by using their address, and I can maybe give them the money and they can buy that, that seems ridiculous. That's what people are... I know people are doing this.
That's what people are doing it. Yeah, of course.
And it just, they shouldn't be.
Why? Why shouldn't they?
Because there should be an option in their own country to do. I don't want someone else doing that for me.
Yeah. No, I understand. But if
we should have to go black market just to get a JAWS license. God, those days I thought were long gone, where people were downloading licenses, for goodness sake. It's like, come on.
No, they are not. Well, look, if people want access, right? My argument would be now that there is alternatives out there. You don't have to pay. I mean, because there's always been alternative. Window Eyes, Dolphin, we've talked about a lot. But the price were all pretty similar when it comes to the cost of buying the software in the first place. Now we do have a free alternative, either in Narrator or in NVDA. So there is choices out there.
Well, we shall see. We shall see what comes of all this. But keep your thoughts coming. TJ is wanting to add his.
Hey, Stephen and Sean. TJ Malloy here. Love your drop the mic moment, Stephen, Friday. That's a classic.
I'll come back to that.
I'm sure you'll get lots of feedback on that one. I wanted to talk about your comments on price. And I'm usually a company they make a product, and whatever they feel they charge, they should be able to get. But I agree with you in the case of the Monarch. My wife and I would both love to have one of these things, but it's just simply cost prohibitive. And I don't know. I mean, I remember when I got a Braille and Speak back in the day, when it was $1,500, that was cost prohibitive to a lot of people. And you thought, adaptive tech will fall in price. It never really has. As your needs change, you need a 32-cell Braille note back in the day, you're going to pay $6,200 for it. Now we're at multi-line displays, which are phenomenal, and you're going to pay, $18,000 for the Monarch or whatever that is. And in the past, we've always had, at least in the States, if you have a vocational rehab case open, you could get them to get assistance for it. But if you don't have one of those open, there's not very many funding options available. So I don't know if it's grants. I don't know what the solution is, but there's got to be a way to get these into more hands of more people, because it's more than your school age that could benefit. There's lots of work uses and everything else for these, but you're right. If it's cost prohibitive, it doesn't really matter. I may get the chance to look at one. My wife Allison is going to get the chance to look at one here in a couple weeks. And I was talking with her the other day, and I said, I almost don't want to look at it, because I'm afraid if I look at it, then I'm going to want it, and that's going to make me more upset, because I'm looking at something that I know I can't have. So I share everybody's frustration, I guess, is the point of this little message here. So hope everyone else is doing well. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, TJ. Yeah, of course, taking the conversation on to the Monarch, of course, and Braille costs and this ongoing debate we've been having around this. The mic drop moment that you might remember a couple of weeks ago now was where I said at the end of a show, I think on a Friday, and we're doing this on a Friday, so that kind of it seems appropriate to do it again, was where I suggested that, maybe we just give up on Braille entirely and teach everyone screen readers instead.
Oh, yeah.
That was a little bit of a throwaway line as a bit of a starter of conversation, but not necessarily to be taken particularly seriously. I do think, however, that actually one thing that is missing in a lot of education, and I'm hearing this from QCVIs, not my own opinion, is that there's a lack of training on screen readers in schools. And actually that is something that you really do need to have an understanding of. I mean, we've been sort of battling this. I've been battling this whole debate for a long time, and I think there is a debate to be had, and it's separate to Braille. This has nothing to do with Braille. What it's more to do with is proficiency in using a computer. I've met many people over the years. I've worked beside people, and before I was using a screen reader, even part-time, I'd talk to people who would say to me, oh, I can't use that website, it's inaccessible, or that doesn't work, or there's no way that operates. And I knew they weren't lying to me, but I was slightly doubtful, but I couldn't be doubtful with any evidence, so I didn't want to challenge them. And then later, when I was using a screen reader myself and finding ways to do the things they were saying were impossible, I began to realize that those individuals perhaps weren't that well trained in using their screen reader. They didn't know how to do that thing. And when I would say, hey, have you tried this? They go, oh, I didn't even know that was a thing. And so, I'm kind of sitting beside people thinking they're very proficient people. They seem to be doing fine. They're getting on all right. And actually, I'm learning that they're not particularly proficient. And I think there maybe needs to be a base standard. I've been saying this for a long time. No one listens to me, but I say it. And I think that there should be some kind of base standard of education, of training. Maybe it's a course that you take.
Well, there is, isn't there? I mean, not for the student, let's put it that way, but what about the teacher, the VI teacher?
Well, yes, but I'm talking about individuals. I'm talking about us. So I'm thinking about me, for example. If I wanted to become proficient,
teaching in schools, if they're not teaching Braille or how to use a screen reader or how to use a computer, what exactly are these specialized instructors or teachers teaching? What else is there?
Children? Any children listening who could answer that question? I'd like to know. No, I mean, obviously,
I'm just not sure that's the entire truth. That could be, they're not learning Braille, and plus they're not learning. No.
Let me be very specific here. Maybe computer training, or and certainly Braille or whatever, where it's applicable at the moment. I personally think it should be available to any child with low vision, but that's my thing. No, I think what I'm talking about here is teaching screen reader proficiency, essentially. Now, whether that's something that comes later in life or something that comes early, I think it's important. There should be a base level, and even a course that, as an adult, I could take to. I think there are schemes.
NVDA,
I think, for
certification, Jules certification.
Yeah, so those do exist, but they don't. What I don't understand is where they link to anything. To me, it's like you should be selling it to some degree. Get yourself up to speed. When you read the guides that talk about, learning something like NVDA or JAWS, they really focus in on, that instruction manual approach of here's how to do X, Y, Z, and that's really good, and you can teach yourself this. But I think I'd almost be like pushing that certification to be like, if you really want to be good at this, you want to get a job and you want to be proficient in that job, you should probably do this. I just don't think it's sold very well, is my point.
Yeah, maybe.
So that was my drop the mic moment the other day. That was what I was talking about.
And you've dropped it again there, Stephen Scott. Yeah. Thank you very much. Now, look, moving on to the Monarch, though, and the pricing on that, and actually all assistive tech, I mean, it does sort of go hand in hand with the JAWS pricing debate. Because it's been going on for years as well. We've been complaining about the cost of assistive tech for the longest time. And TJ is absolutely right. Where's the shift been? There's been no change. I thought it was all going to change with the Orbit and the like. It never really. It didn't make a difference to the competition.
No, it didn't. I mean, it moved the needle tiny bit, I guess, but I don't know if that's more by default. I don't think it was because of Orbit or because of others. And I think challenges with Orbit in the early days actually gave those companies the ability to say, well, you can go buy this, but, our stuff is really good and you might want to stick with that. And actually, you're buying premium here, So it kind of almost allowed them to double down.
That's exactly what Vespero is saying about JAWS.
Yeah, that's true. Interesting times, for sure. Okay. Look, we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back, though, and we're going to be chatting more about more of your emails that are coming in. Double Tap thanks Pneuma Solutions for supporting this podcast and for their continued commitment to digital accessibility. Pneuma Solutions is behind some of the most powerful accessibility tools out there, all designed by blind developers who understand the real-world challenges of inaccessible tech. Whether it's Remote Incident Manager or RIM, which lets you give or receive fully accessible remote tech support across PC and Mac, or Scribe, which turns inaccessible meeting documents into screen reader-friendly files instantly, Pneuma is solving real problems with smart, usable tools. They're not just building the products, they're building independence to go along with them. At Pneuma, they believe access to information is a right, not a privilege, and that is why we're excited to celebrate our partnership with a special offer just for the Double Tap community. Use code DT20 for $20 off any new purchase or the first billing cycle of a subscription. And they're giving away 10 free community support subscriptions for Remote Incident Manager and 10 Scribe for Documents subscriptions as well. You can experience seamless tech support and real-time document remediation completely accessibly. Subscribe to our newsletter at doubletaponair.com/subscribe for your chance to win and stay up to date with everything they're working on.
Get in touch with Double Tap. Email feedback at doubletaponair.com. Leave us a voicemail at 1-877-803-4567. And now you can send an audio or video message to us on WhatsApp. That number is 1-613-481-0144.
Okay, let's get back into the emails then. And here's Chris.
Hello, Double Tappers. This is Christopher from Melbourne, Australia. Thought I would take this moment to mention, while we complain about companies not doing the right thing, rightly so, it is important at the same time to mention about companies that have had rock-solid accessibility. One such instance is right here in Australia. It is our biggest financial institution, Commonwealth Bank. The CommBank app has been best banking app of the year for 15 years running and has absolutely rock-solid accessibility. Other banks here in Australia have decided, for their own reasons, not to give out cash. This institution has listened to community feedback and has done everything that the community wants them to do, including people with disabilities.
Well, that's good news, Christopher. Really appreciate you getting in touch and telling us about that. I mean, you're absolutely right. You know, when someone does it well, we should praise. And good for you. Good for you for praising the bank.
No, I'm not for it at all. I like complaining.
Well, so do I. But, you know, I think I'll tell you the good news, right? There's plenty to complain about. So that's the good news. But
no,
when there's praise,
right,
we should
Chris.
give it.
Yeah. If they're doing a great job, then they should be praised. Well done, Commonwealth Bank.
There you go. Sign up now. Sign me up. Oh, wait a minute. I don't live in Australia. Does that matter?
Probably not. No, it'll be fine. Yes, it will, man.
Have you still got the thunder going on in the background?
Yes,
there?
I have. Yes.
What is going on outside your house?
I live in the UK. Can you tell?
Can you open that door and just, check with Ira and check that there's anything left behind you there?
I'm scared to. I'm staying here. I may open that door and find I'm in Kansas or Texas or somewhere.
Yeah. I think it wasn't the point they weren't in Kansas anymore.
I don't know. Don't pick me up on things. Next email.
Okay, here's Daddy.
Hi, Stephen. Hi, Sean. Hope you're keeping well. Well, I'm coming on here today. So I did last October sign up to the Agiga EchoVision glasses. But I did also, I know they went shipping to anywhere outside the US and Canada, and I did set up a forward shipping address for America, but when now the Ali Solus glass I went for those instead, and I got my money refunded. So looking forward to seeing these Ali Solo's Glass Corner. They should be excellent. Stephen, Ramblio, oh yeah, it's a great app. I just signed up to it. Done a few messages, saw yours, saw a few other people. So it's interesting to see the same crew of people on there as Clubhouse or Audioboo or so on and so forth. So you should be good. Keep up the good work. Love your podcast. Oh, it's Derry from Dublin.
Oh, I know who you are. Oh, Derry.
That's the wrong. Okay, it's fine. Hello, Derry. Sorry about Stephen. He's a terrible person. I'm on
the same
Ramblio.
people. Irish people. And how many times have I explained this to you? Irish people and Scottish people are the same people. Scottish people just decided they wanted it colder.
Okay. See you, Jimmy. Do you like it when people say that
Thank
to you,
you.
Stephen Scott?
That's all I get. Have you been on Ramblio recently? That's all people. Americans doing Scottish accents at me. That's all I get. I love it.
The new.
I'm loving it.
Yeah. I'm using Ramblio. Ramblio. I'm using Ramblio. And,
Well done. Did you get on eventually?
I got on eventually, yes. Very easy. Very, very easy to use. Although I can't change my name, so I'm user 397265432. Something or other. And I've just noticed that you can actually use it just on the website.
Yeah,
That's
they just
very
opened
cool.
that
You
up.
can record. Yeah, ramblio.com. RAMBLIO.com.
What was
Very
your
nice.
first? What was your first message that you gave to the Rambly people?
Like 100,000 other users, it was just testing. Hello? Is this thing working?
No, that is not correct.
It was correct.
No.
Why? What?
You told me what you put up on that message.
Oh, no, that was my second message.
Oh,
Okay.
all right. Okay, fine. All right. So first message was correct. Well done. Second
you.
message.
God, you and those sound effects.
I love them.
Wait till I come to your house next.
Oh, yeah,
Bring
you're
a
not going to
hammer
get anywhere
with
near
me.
this. Nowhere near this room, I'm telling you. What was your second message,
My
Sean,
second
please?
message was
Hang on. We have to prepare ourselves for this.
Okay.
See if anyone can guess. Go.
How much would you pay a month for Ramblio? Should there be a subscription? And if so, how much should it be?
So I think we've
free.
all agreed it's probably not going to be free forever. It's funny how we're now in this mindset, right? When something's free, we're like, okay, it's not going to be free for long. How much is this going to cost? You know what I mean? It's a tricky one with social media.
Something. Yeah, I know, but stop that. Okay, audio clip.
I didn't say that.
How long's the average audio clip on there? It's quite long, right? That's got to be stored somewhere. It's got to be stored on a server, and then when we hit the play button, it's got to retrieve it back, and then got to play it. That costs money. Server storage costs money, especially if it gets popular and there's thousands of audio clips on there. There's no way it can be free unless they find another revenue stream such as advertising or whatever, which everyone hates. So, I mean, I can't see how it could carry on for free.
Little tidbit for you from the Apple event earlier in the week. 3 million people streamed it on YouTube, right? Which is actually quite a small number. I thought it'd be a lot higher than that.
Yeah, so did I.
It's kind of like our numbers on YouTube.
Yeah.
And hang on a second.
Don't check.
Legally,
Don't
I
check.
had to do that. There you are, 3 million people, and they said that that actually would have cost Google to run that, essentially to allow that to be broadcast out to 3 million people. It was like $150 a second. Thought it was an interesting little stat there for you.
What, to run the live stream?
Not to run it, but to actually, essentially with the servers and the load and everything else to actually accommodate
the
that.
server load, yeah. Yeah, but it's not cheap, depending on the amount of data you're pushing through. The odd text message, social media posts, but even then, you think of how many videos and, it's all multimedia now, very little text. X must cost nothing to run. No wonder Elon's so rich.
Yeah, well, that's right. And everything's hosted elsewhere. I mean, what about if they limited the message length? So say it was, because this is kind of like my thinking of, I think, is it Blue Sky or Threads, or one of the two of them, are now opening up to 10,000 characters per post.
Oh, wow.
Mastodon has got this on some places as well. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. If you want to write a blog, go create a blog and write one. Don't put it into a social post that just goes on and on and on.
Well, Well, why not? Why could
I don't want to listen to it. I'm not interested.
Well, then swipe on by,
and if you can't write, cannot write in a fashion that gets it into 140 characters or 240 characters or whatever, there is a thing called AI that will help you. Write your book if you want, and then get it to summarize it for you.
Old MacDonald, aren't you? It's all about the AI.
Social media is about quick. No, if I start listening to a post and it's like, well, on the 4th day of July, I sat down in my shed. It's like, get to the point, please.
It was the best of times. Hey, there was nothing wrong with that post.
It was a good day, actually, yeah. I know you enjoyed it.
Look, that could be a solution, right? We're talking about Ramblio, by the way.
Yes.
A free tier, about 1 minute of recording.
That's a good idea,
Out. Mm-hmm. If you want more, you pay. That could be
That's a good way of doing it, yeah. That's good. I like that.
Thank you. You can have that one, Josh, the developer, by the way. Yeah, no, it's very cool. I do like it. It's very nice. But like anything, it's funny, when we get our hands on it, our blind hands on it, incredibly popular.
Greasy.
Incredibly popular. Will it die off? Will it get less popular? I don't know. But it's just a very nice, accessible service at the minute. I do like it.
Yeah, it's audio Twitter. That's what I like about it. But without, Twitter being involved.
Yeah, still in beta, still under test. I did go to the website and it does say join for the Android beta as well. So I'm not sure. I haven't clicked on it, so I don't know if it actually still works. But it may still be open, Android users, if you're interested.
Let's go to Teresa and see what she's got to say. We're talking about learning languages.
Hello, Double Tappers. Hi, Sean and Stephen.
Hello.
This is Teresa sending this message from Washington State. I am originally from Mexico, and I started to listen to your show at the end of last year. I love it.
Oh.
I'm an eager listener. I have a question for you guys, but also for anybody to answer if they know or if they have any solutions or propositions for me. So I want to learn a new language, and I was trying to use Duolingo with VoiceOver in my phone. And I found that it was a very frustrating experience to do it. I was trying to learn French, and it's a very hard language because nothing is as it sounds. And when you have your VoiceOver voice speaking English, and then it mispronounces everything, and it's really hard to actually do it. So I was wondering if anybody has any ideas on how to learn languages being blind using the technology, especially using the phone with VoiceOver. And I also have a Braille display, which I don't use frequently enough, but maybe I should use it more. So if anybody has any ideas, solutions, it would be greatly appreciated. Thank you so much. Keep it up with your show. I love it.
Oh, thank you so much, Teresa. I really appreciate that. Yeah, really lovely to have you along, and glad you're enjoying the show. I've got to say, language, I mean, I'm struggling with English most days, so
we noticed.
That's the one I was brought up on. Well, actually, it was Scottish to be precise, but we'll call it English. Scottish. Yeah.
I've used Duolingo, and
have you?
Yeah, yes, I have.
No, you haven't. You have not. What language have you learned?
The ni hao, share. I was learning Chinese. Thank you. The whole family used it, actually. The kids used it, Sarah used it. And it was okay from a screen reader point of view. It's not great. There was a lot of times where it's, okay, the way it's pronounced in those words are exactly the same. There's no difference. I need to choose between them. I know Sarah did install the Romanian voice on her iPhone, so it did read it out in the proper language. But I have never tried that, so I don't know.
Well, I would not be doing that.
That was a couple. Well, now you've got the voice chooser. Well, it used to be called the language selection.
Oh yeah, the voice
on the rotor.
Change the voices. Yeah.
Now you can have that, so you can flick between them.
I was going to say, because that's the thing that would terrify me, but because I've been stuck before. Amount of times I've got myself caught in, you go into something and you accidentally hit the wrong language. And suddenly
I've done that on a Windows setup before, and just I need to wipe this and start again.
Yeah.
But I haven't used Duolingo in a long time, so I don't know if the accessibility has changed and maybe it's worse. It was usable, but a bit of a pain. So I'm going to have to throw this out to our users. There was another one. Was it Dabble or Babble? There's two main language apps out there. The second one was totally inaccessible. I couldn't use it at all. So I'm sure there's other solutions, though.
That sounds like a one for the audience for sure.
Yeah.
Although I do have my own recommendation here for you, Teresa.
Uh-oh.
Don't bother.
Don't bother. What, just shout?
No.
Shout and point?
No. Buy yourself a pair of AirPods Pro 3 or 2. Get live translation on there.
Mm-hmm.
Can talk to anyone you want. You don't need to learn the language. Just talk in your language. There, it'll figure it out.
Or the Pixel Buds with Pixel voice translation,
let's be serious.
obviously, or Samsung,
let's
or
get
any
real.
of the others.
No, get real. You buy an iPhone with AirPods. What are you talking about? This is in no way connected to me wanting a new iPhone from Apple, right? This has nothing to do with that. No, honestly, you're right. There's loads of options out there. And that's my point, right? There's lots of ways you can communicate now without actually having to learn the language. I know that's not the best way to look at it. You're probably wanting to learn this so you can travel and go great places and speak to the locals. I get all that. Personally, I'm far too lazy. I'll use live translation.
Meta Ray-Bans, real-time translation built in for a small selection of language, but I believe French is in there. And look, it's just it's another tool, right? I turned on French to English translation on the Meta Ray-Bans, started listening to a French radio station, and it was just interesting. I wanted to see how it worked and how well it worked. But you combine that with something, with a language learning app, and maybe you can get... What are you laughing at, Stephen Scott?
I'm just... Because I know you only too well, and I think at any point did you say ho-hee-ho-hee-ho? At any point during that radio station broadcast?
No.
I bet you did. I bet you did. You are a liar.
Bonjour, mon ami, is what I said. Thank you. Au revoir. Ni hao.
Yeah, stick to that. On. Yeah, stick to that one. How's that going, by the way, the old Cantonese or whatever it was you were trying to learn?
Not great.
Yeah, okay.
It got very complicated very quickly.
And you stuck with the 2 words that you could... I'm assuming that's hello.
That's hello and thank you. Share. I use that a lot when I'm ordering something.
Wow. Okay.
What? What's wrong with that? I do.
Oh, we're the worst people. Right. Why do people come to us for advice? Oh, yeah, I know why, because they want to get to the audience. That's what it is. They don't want to speak to us. Teresa, thank you so much for that. Great to have you with us. Let's go to, who have we got next? I've got Charles up next with this is about pop sockets. Okay.
Hello, Stephen and Sean. I just finished listening to the August 20th episode of Double Tap Canada, and as always, it was a delightful mix of banter, tech talk, and some occasional verbal jousting.
Oh, hang on. I beg your pardon. I think I'm playing the wrong one. Let me hit this one. I think this is Charles.
Hello, Double Tappers. Charles here. I'd like to add something to the discussion about MagSafe. You guys did a pretty good job of giving an overview of MagSafe accessories. I'd like to add one. If you haven't heard about this, they're called pop sockets. I have a blind friend locally who wasn't aware of this, and I think it's probably because she didn't see other people using them until my partner and I were hanging out with her one day. One of us was fidgeting with it. She got curious. One thing led to another. So for those who may not know, pop sockets are a gripping aid that you attach to the back of your phone. It comes with it's basically 2 parts. The first part is a base, a circular base that attaches to, in this case, the MagSafe arrays, but you don't have to get MagSafe ones. The original versions of pop sockets, that bottom circular base had like an adhesive, that was hard for me to say, on the back of it. So you would stick it to your phone or your case or whatever. But obviously MagSafe is way better. You don't get sticky stuff on your phone. And so on the base, there is a little connector that you can attach a smaller circular cap to it. And that cap can have all sorts of different designs. Like I've got 2 different pop socket caps that you can connect to the base. You can swap out these caps. I have one that is Harry Potter themed, and then I have another that is kind of a kaleidoscopic galaxy type design. And I think both of them look quite good on the back of my black case. So the way this works is the cap can extend from the base, and you wrap 2 fingers on either side of the extended cap. It's like a silicone type grip. And I would compare it to the way that you may have been taught to hold a the leash of a guide dog while you're walking. You know how you for those of you who have had guide dogs, you know what I'm talking about, where you put the leash between 2 or 3 fingers. It's a similar grip where you use 2 fingers, the insides of 2 fingers to hold it, and then you can wrap your other fingers around the phone. So the reason I wanted to bring this up is because it can offer some more stability in your grip. If you have tremors or you're having trouble with something like Face ID, you can hold your phone a little bit more steadily so that the camera isn't shaking. You can get a better position, line it up better. So as Stephen and Sean mentioned, there are other accessories. I also have a MagSafe tripod, a MagSafe charger. There are all sorts of different other types of accessories, but I wanted to mention pop sockets because I'm not sure how many blind people really know about these. So thanks for everything you guys do. I love the show. I try to listen every day. Don't always make it. I'll be fully honest, but I do my best. The show is awesome. The community is great. I love you guys. Talk to you soon.
Oh, thank you, Charles. But I will say, in future, try harder to listen to every day, and then you'll absolutely achieve it. Well done.
He didn't say he didn't listen every day. He just didn't make it every day. Perhaps he doesn't listen all the way through. I mean, that's understandable. I think I gave up about 20 minutes into this one myself.
Wow. Okay, fine.
Do they sound cool? Pop sockets. I've never heard of them.
I think I have. I mean, I remember something very similar to this was thrust upon me at an event. Someone said, you must try this on your phone, and then proceeded to stick it to the back of my phone. I spent the rest of it trying to get rid of it.
Scrape it off.
Yeah, exactly. Especially adhesive, which is a hard word to say. It requires an incredible amount of intake of breath.
Adhesive. Yeah. Would you trust MagSafe? Do you think it's strong enough to hold something? I was thinking that, you get these MagSafe lanyards, for example. I wouldn't trust it.
Well,
I have no experience of it, so it may be absolutely fine. I would feel uneasy.
Yeah, well, there's magnets that are involved, not directly with the phone, I don't think, with this new crossbody strap that's coming with the iPhone Air. It just to me seems like if you want to steal someone's iPhone, you're just giving them the opportunity because you're displaying it to the world. I don't understand this.
No one's going to steal your thing, Stephen Scott. The world's lovely.
Listen, not when I'm using my iPhone SE, 3rd generation. No one's coming after this. This
your
is
iPhone
safe.
13 mini.
Nobody wants that, so it's absolutely fine. I'm safe. I think we'll get time for one more, and we've kind of previewed this one a little bit. This is Gregory, who wants to talk about my recent, not my thoughts, but some people's thoughts who'd been emailing in on ACB and NFB and the whole pride discussion. Let's listen into this.
Hello, Stephen and Sean. I just finished listening to the August 20th episode of Double Tap Canada, and as always, it was a delightful mix of banter, tech talk, and some occasional verbal jousting. You two managed to keep things entertaining while still sneaking in some real substance like vegetables hidden in mac and cheese or a culinary dive into a bucket full of KFC chicken. I wanted to chime in on the brief mention by a listener of the LGBTQ+ community and its relationship with the ACB and NFB blind organisations. As someone who proudly waves the rainbow cane, figuratively speaking, I've been following the friction between LGBTQ+ members and the ACB organisation with a mix of concern and popcorn, with worthy curiosity. Last year, the LGBTQ+ affiliate parted ways with the ACB, and many of us found a more welcoming home in Blind Pride International, BPI, where I've been a member for a few years now. From what I gather, and I'll admit I'm no political analyst or organisational whisperer, the split had a lot to do with older, more conservative board members not exactly rolling out the welcome mat for queer folks. Respect and inclusion shouldn't be optional features in any accessibility toolkit, but alas, here we are. It might be fascinating and slightly chaotic to hear from blind LGBTQ+ voices about how they feel represented, or not, in the tech and accessibility space. That said, I know how quickly a well-intentioned tech discussion can turn into a full-blown culture war with pitchforks made of screen readers and flaming Twitter threads. So if you do decide to wade into those waters, maybe wear floaties and bring snacks. I get that some topics are like garden bombs with grenades concealed underneath. As a regular listener, I appreciate that DTC doesn't shy away from the messy bits when it matters. You've built a podcast that's my go-to oasis for rants, waffling, opinions, interviews, honesty, feedback, breaking news, and yes, actual tech. Happy belated Pride, and thanks for keeping the airwaves lively and inclusive, even when the topics get spicy. And just to be clear, the opinions expressed in this email are mine alone and not endorsed by anyone with a functioning grip on sanity.
Thank you, Gregory. Well, thank goodness for that, because I was worried for a second there. I thought someone might have accidentally got a grip on sanity and dared to come onto this program. So thankfully that's not the case. No, listen, Gregory, I appreciate that. I know you do too, Sean. That's what we try to do here. And of course, in the week that's gone by, I think that discussion is important. We should be able to have good, honest, friendly, respectful discussions. We may not always hear things or say things to each other that we like, but that's the whole point of discussion and debate, and that's something we should be cherishing. Sadly, it seems that's not something we cherish at the moment, and we certainly see that this week. But we've tried to keep the mood up as best we can, considering the world outside. We are going to be back, though, with Double Tap Extra over the weekend, which you can check out on our Double Tap Extra podcast, which you can find on the internet. Where, Sean?
Anywhere you like.
There you go. Problem solved. That is absolutely 100% right. Well done.
Subscribe in your favourite podcast app. You could also find it on your favourite thing. I don't know what you want, Stephen.
I don't know. That's it. That's all I need. I don't know. I just thought I'd throw it to you just for a laugh. I love to wind you up with that. It's far too easy. So yeah, just search Double Tap Extra wherever your podcast comes from, or on your smart speaker, which you didn't say. And
I forgot that.
Yeah, and then you can check out our conversation. We're going to be joined by Michael Babcock, hopefully, assuming he's got power. It'd be so funny if he comes on with power and then you lose power in the next 5 minutes.
Only one at a time. There's not enough power to go around.
We only have one of you at the time. We never see Michael and Sean in the same room. Why is that? Conspiracy theories are plenty. But yeah, Michael Fear's also going to be joining us. We're going to be chatting about the week that was with Apple, because there's plenty to talk about. So
more
we'll get into
Apple?
that. Yeah.
I want to talk Android.
Okay, well, you can talk Android if you want.
Oh, will do. Right, good.
Oh, I can't wait for this. Sean's going to talk Android in the extra.
Oh, my power's gone. Sorry.
What does that mean? Yeah, you can turn it back on now, Sean. That is it for us, though, for this week here on Double Tap on AMI Audio. Of course, you can catch us again on Monday. We'll be back with plenty more discussion, more of your feedback to come as well. Join us for that. Have yourselves a great and safe weekend, whatever you're doing. And Sean, I will catch you on the extra and on Monday.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Like and subscribe.
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Oh, just
no one's going to do that.